Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a first impression and review on the new Tarte unicorn brushes. These are called their magical wand brush set, and I did get mine inside Sephora JCPenney. The Sephora inside JCPenney, and they were barely putting everything out. They didn't have the whole collection. They didn't have the eyeshadows yet, so if you go, you might see some things here and there. You might not see the whole collection yet. I know they do have them on Sephora's app and also on Tarte.com, so if you're interested, they are $39 plus tax. You do get 5 brushes in this collection. They all have a different color, and they are intended for a certain thing, but of course they're tools. You can use them for whatever you want. In today's video, I used them a little different just to kind of show you how they're used or how they're supposed to be used, and then what else you can use them for. So the first one is the foundation brush, and I did use it today just for foundation. Now usually I use a round brush. This one looks a little more oval, like on its side. It's a little more flat than a regular foundation brush. Let me show you the one that I normally use. If I use one for foundation, it's probably one of these. I have used a stipple brush or one of these brushes. You know what I'm saying? So I have never used one like this. I felt like it would be like painting on my face, and it was like painting on my face, but it actually blended my foundation really good. This one was the one that I was like, I'm probably not gonna use that brush a lot. It's just, you know, sometimes you have a set of brushes and you don't use some of them as much. So this one was the one that I thought I would use the least. But now that I've used it, I feel like it's one that I'll use the most. And none of these brushes, I'm just gonna tell you right now, none of these brushes feel hard or stiff or pokey. I really thought that they were gonna feel that way because they're colorful, and that reminds me a little bit of like kid brushes or those plasticky fake brushes, you know, not fake, but just not the great quality brushes. So I felt like that's what these were gonna feel like, but of course, you know, I wanted to give them a chance. So just so you know, none of them feel that way. They're all really soft, and this one does have good weight for it, for being a plasticky handle. You know what I mean? Because they look kind of like they would be just very light. This one's not. This one's really good. And I would say this one is one of my favorites from the entire set. The next one I used is this pink one, and this one is intended for powder. It does say a powder brush, but today I used it to set my loose powder, so not just my whole face powder, but my loose powder on my under eyes. And I gotta say that for my under eyes, it's too big, even though it's tapered. I just wanted to try it out to see how it would work and to show you the size, you know, kind of compare it to what I normally use. So the brush that I use is really thin. It's a tapered thin brush, and I'll show you right now to compare the two. This is the one that I usually use for my under eyes, and this is the size difference, but I still wanted to show you so you can get an idea on how big it is. So for my under eyes, I would say nope, it didn't work out at all for my under eyes, but it did work perfectly fine to set my powder. I did just use a pressed powder, and it worked fine. It sets my foundation. It sets the foundation with the powder, and it does a good job. Again, this one's another one that weighs pretty good. That doesn't feel cheap. The bristles are really soft. You don't feel that pokiness on your face or anything like that. Okay, so I turned off my light. If it looks a little different, it's because I turned off the lights. I felt like I was looking too yellow. I don't know, it was just changing colors on me. And this one is the contouring brush, and I only use it for contouring because I'm in the shape, you know, it is what it is. But I did use it for contouring, and I gotta say, it places really good on my cheekbone area where I'm gonna contour at. It doesn't blend out as nicely though. It's kind of like another brush that I do have. Some brushes like this don't really blend out your contour that well. They just kind of apply it very good, and then you have to go in with another brush, which I did. I ended up having to blend it out a little bit more with my powder brush just to get, you know, a little bit more of a smooth contour. From the shadow, it kind of looks a little darker, but once I turn around, you can kind of see it. I mean, and I used this brush today, so I mean, it applies your contour fine. I do gotta say that for your nose, it's kind of big. It's kind of too thick across. I did use it on my nose today just to kind of show you how it would work. So I applied it, and it does draw a straight line, or yeah, it pretty much draws it on. It draws a straight line, which is great, but once you go up and down, it's not really blending anything out. So I did use a stipple brush to blend out my nose contour. The last two brushes that you get are eyeshadow brushes, and these are a little bit lighter, but again, they're very thin, so I mean, they shouldn't be that heavy. I like that they're also really long. All of the brushes are really long. They're the same length, I would say, but for eyeshadows mine are usually shorter, so it was nice to have a longer handle. So the first one being the blending brush, I did use it for my crease color, and I applied a warm brown on my crease color, and it blended out perfectly fine. Again, it doesn't feel hard, it doesn't feel pokey, it doesn't feel bad or anything like that. It blends it out just fine. If you're really picky about your blending brush, if you already have a favorite, then I don't know if you would like this. This is a little bit longer, so it does have more movement to it. I'm not used to it. My other one is a little bit more tapered, and this one's just a little different, but it did the job that it was supposed to. And I also used it to darken up my look, because first I just had a warm brown, the eyelid color, so I decided to go back in with a darker brown and apply it on the outer part of my eyes and kind of blend it in, and you can see right there, I mean, it's blended out. I didn't use any other brushes for my eye look today, and even though I'm not used to a brush like this, I'll still be reaching for it because it did a good job. There's nothing wrong with it. There are blending brushes that look like this, and then there are blending brushes that look tapered, which is what I'm used to, but trying it out, I mean, it does the same, like it does a good job, so I didn't have a problem with it. I do like this one a lot. This one is the blue one, and all I did was use this one for my eyelid color, which it picked up the color really good. It doesn't do much else besides that, and it did a good job picking up the eyeshadow. I did use the Low Rock shades today, and those are very powdery and very soft, so it did pick it up pretty well. It didn't give me like fallout or anything, and I know that sometimes has to do with how powdery the eyeshadows are, but some brushes don't pick up enough color. And this one was one that I was like, you know, whatever. If it doesn't really work out, that's okay, but I'm glad that it does pick up the eyeshadow. So I'm pretty impressed with all 5 of them. I'm surprised that I actually liked them. I really didn't have that much hope, and I'm gonna be honest, just because I wasn't sure, because they're colorful. They're limited edition, by the way. I don't know if I said that earlier. They're fairly cheap, because most brush sets are pretty expensive, and I've never bought any Tarte brushes before, so I don't know how much their other sets are or what other sets they have. I know they have individual ones, but I don't know if they have other sets. So for 40 bucks, I thought that was a really, really good deal. I am going to be using them. I'm not going to keep them like for display or just to have them because they're limited edition. I'm actually going to use them because I do like them, so I'm glad that I do. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and that it was helpful. Don't forget that they're not going to be for sale for a long time, so if you're interested, try to get your hands on them now. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.